They released 4 studio albums between 1993 and 2002, which sold over 40 million.
Yeah, let's just say that again.
40 million. That's 1 or 2 copies. 40 million copies worldwide. I hope my book sells more than that.
Well, you were talking about your book.
We'll talk about that in a minute. This makes them the 3rd most successful band from Sweden of all time, after ABBA. And ever heard of ABBA?
Yeah.
And Roxette. They're from Gothenburg, Sweden, and their genres are listed on Wikipedia as, wait for it, Europop, Eurodance, synth pop, dance pop, reggae fusion, techno, disco new age, disco new age and down-tempo, high NRG, whatever that is, and dance.
Now, NRG, we came across
that the other day, didn't we?
The other day, yeah. I
can't remember what it was.
We'll find out. Yeah, Happy Nation and The Sign is one of the best-selling debut albums of all time, and it was certified 9 times platinum in the United States. It was the first debut album to produce 3 #1 singles on the Billboard mainstream, as we mentioned, top 40 chart, All That She Wants to Sign and Don't Turn Around. Following the formal departure of singer Lynn in 2007, the band performed a series of concerts as a trio in Europe and Asia from 2000 through to 2009. Jenny revealed in November 2009 that she would be taking indefinite leave from the band to focus on a solo career. And in 2009, Jonas and Ulf recruited 2 new female vocalists, Clara Hagman and Julia Williamson. That's better English names, you can read well. And released The Golden Radio in September of 2010.
Yeah, in 1987, following a number of years as part of a new romantic and punk covers band called G. Conrad, Jonas Berggren formed a band with 2 friends, Johnny Linden and Nicholas Trunk, for a school project. His sisters Lynn and Jenny joined as singers. The new band went through several names: Kalinin Prospect, which is a place in Russia, after an avenue in Moscow, CAD, which is Computer-Aided Disco, and Tech Noir, French for Black Technology, after a nightclub in the film The Terminator. They toured the clubs of Sweden with self-written material, techno-inspired by the likes of the KLF and Snap. Johnny left the group in 1989, and Nicholas made his departure known by failing to appear at a performance. Instead, he attended a Rolling Stones concert on the other side of town. Well, you can understand that.
Not really, no. But there you go. No.
Jonas asked his friend Ulf Ekberg to stand in for Nicholas. The new quartet sought a new name to make a fresh start. Lynn was reported saying, "No one could pronounce the name of the group, and nobody could remember it." Is that Swedish? They settled on Ace of Base because they were the masters of their studio, the basement of a car repair shop.
Yeah, that's yes. That wasn't the Swedish story. Might have been.
I did try. A good
try. Yeah. However, the band continued to struggle to gain any recognition. That was partly due to the preference of heavy metal over techno in their hometown. And according to singer Jenny, in 1991 they responded to a newspaper ad by producer John Ballard, who was looking for new talent. He was somewhat unsure about their potential, but didn't pass them on to Klaas Lundig at Telegram Records, who helped them record an early demo for the song Wheel of Fortune in their newly renovated studio. Despite this, it didn't convince Telegram to sign the band, and other labels in Sweden still showed no sign of interest. The demo was eventually sold for a small price to the independent Danish label Mega Records in March of 1992. Wheel of Fortune was re-recorded and was released as a single in Denmark in May, but failed to reach the charts as well. A small budget music video was shot and directed in a small studio by Viking Nilsson, and in September, after 2 failures, the single finally reached the charts.
Is that a lovely name, Viking Nilsson? Would you like to be called Viking?
Well, I would love it. I would be a Viking.
Well, Wheel of Fortune was a modest success. A different song led Ace of Base to take off internationally. After hearing Swedish top 20 hit Another Mother by KO, the band decided that was exactly the sound they wanted to create. They contacted the song producer Denny's Pop and sent him a demo of a song called Mr. Ace. The tape got stuck in a cassette tape player in the car, so he listened to it over and over again, which helped him decide to produce the track. A likely story. The song became All She Wants, a dark fusion of dub reggae with pop, which became the band's trademark sound. On release in October 1992, it quickly climbed to number 1 on the Danish chart, while the previous single was still sitting at number 2. Keen to rush out an LP for the Christmas market, Mega Records pressed the band for an album, and it was hastily recorded, mixed and released within a few weeks. The album was called Happy Nation. It was an instant hit in Denmark, and its success prompted interest elsewhere in Europe. A pan-European license was signed with Metronome Polygram, now Universal Music, but they were turned down by the American division. Within a few months, All That She Wants had reached number 3 in Sweden and had spent 8 weeks at number 1 in Germany. In various European countries, Happy Nation and Waiting for Magic were released as further singles following the album release.
In May, All She Wants continued to be a hit all around the world and topped the charts for 3 weeks in the United Kingdom. However, despite Mega Records' hard efforts to secure a distribution deal in the United States, the response was always the same. This band will never work in the States. Eventually, however, Clive Davis, I think it's Clive Davis.
Clive Davis?
Yeah, of course it is, the founder of Arista Records, thought otherwise, and by the end of 1993, All That She Wants had made its way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Just goes to show how wrong people can be, isn't it?
Well, the Yanks are a little bit insular in this respect.
Well, that was right. And in order to freshen up the album for the United States release, Davis insisted that some new tracks were recorded, including, of course, The Sign, which became the new title for the album and the second American single. It was even more successful than the first, spending 6 weeks at number 1 and becoming the best-selling single of 1994. It was also a major hit in Europe, peaking at number 2 in the UK and Sweden and at number 1 in Germany. Due to fears of imports from the United States, the original European album was re-released with new tracks under the name Happy Nation (US version). Collectively, the different versions of the album reached the number 1 position in at least 14 countries and sold over 23 million copies worldwide.
23 million, that's incredible, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is 23 million. That's some money into the bank account for them, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, 2 more singles were released, Don't Turn Around and Living in Danger. The former was originally recorded by Tina Turner on the B-side of her single, Typical Male. Davis suggested that the band record the song and it was yet another worldwide hit. The latter was a moderate chart hit in most countries where it was released and was performed at the first ever MTV Europe Music Awards held in Germany. By the end of 1994, they were an international commercial success. Even though the band was exhausted from 2 long years of international promotion, they could hardly believe how successful they had become. In April 1994, a crazed German fan broke into the Bergens family home brandishing a knife. After managing to restrain her, the band decided that from then on they needed bodyguards. However, they were not allowed to take time to reflect before starting work on a second album because their record companies all over the world were demanding a swift follow-up. To speed up the process, instead of Jonas and Ulf writing the bulk of the album, each member was encouraged to submit his or her own tracks for consideration.
Well, in the end, 17 tracks made the cut of the second album, titled The Bridge. It marked a considerable change of direction in sound, out with the reggae and club sounds that made the group so popular, in favour of a more experimental sound and several ballads. The lead single... Ballads. Yeah, ballads. Yeah, the lead single, Lucky Love, however, was a mainstream pop record, and on release in October 1995, became the band's first number 1 single in Sweden, which came as a pleasant surprise as they'd found out that their fellow Swedes had been their hardest critics. It charted at a more modest number 13 in Germany and number 20 in the UK. Arista Records opted for the pulsating dance beat of Beautiful Life for the first single in the US, which peaked at number 15 both in the US and the UK. Beautiful Life was released as the second single from the album in most countries, while Lucky Love was remixed in a more acoustic form, along with a new video for the second US single from the album, peaking at number 30. The Bridge was certified platinum in 14 countries, but the phenomenal success of the band's first album proved difficult to follow. Never Gonna Sound Sorry was released as the third single from the album and achieved moderate success in Europe, but failed to chart on the Hot 100 in the US. In February 1996, the band performed at the Viña del Mar Festival de la Canción in Chile. topping the bill alongside Two Unlimited.
Well, your pronunciations, Mike, are as good as mine, aren't they?
Well, they're getting better.
They're getting better. But we have a lot of this, don't we, on this show? A lot of funny names to pronounce. And we haven't got the...
Thank you, Bobby.
Yes, we haven't got the facilities of the BBC that have this pronunciation department, or they used to have.
Enunciation department.
Enunciation. Yeah. Well, after this, Ace of Base disappeared from the limelight for a while, only emerging in July 1997 to perform at a concert to celebrate the 20th birthday of Princess Victoria of Sweden. They were given as much time as they wanted to produce their third album, much of it being recorded in Jonas' own studio called The Barn. When it was finally released in June 1998, the band declared it their best album yet. It was titled Flowers because they believed that the songs, wildly different in style, including Motown and gospel influences, resembled a varied bouquet of flowers. Well, what do we say? Fans were surprised to see that singer Lynn had relinquished lead vocal duties to sister Jenny, and on many promotional photos Lynn's face was blurred. They were reassured that Lynn was happy and with the new backing role on the group, and many reasons were given for her decision, including her having damaged her voice, fear of flying putting her off from travelling around the world, and her dislike of fame.
Interesting, because I'm looking at a picture here of Ace of Base, A Cruel Summer, and Ace of Base Flowers. When they said that Lynn's image was blurred on the cover, but Jenny's quite a big girl.
Yes.
To put it mildly, but there you are. The radio-friendly single "Life Is a Flower" was certified the most played track on European radio for 1998. And that one sold over 250,000 copies in the UK, peaking at number 5. The colourful video of the same name was produced and directed by Andreas Newman. The British label London Records had requested that the band record the 1983 hit Cruel Summer by Bananarama, and it was selected as the second European single. Deciding that Life as a Flower was too European in nature, Clive Davis pulled Cruel Summer as the lead off single for the United States, and it brought Ace of Base back into the US top 10 for the first time in 4 years, being certified gold. The album was also renamed Cruel Summer and featured a different track list compared to the European release. For this version of the album, Davis persuaded a reluctant Lynn to record a Billy Steinberg ballad, Every Time It Rains. Life as a Flower was re-recorded as Whenever You're Near Me, and 4 other songs originally on Flower were remixed and edited for the United States release. Whenever You're Near Me was released as the second single from Cruel Summer, and that peaked at number 76. Travel to Romantis and Always Have, Always Will were further singles in Europe, while Every Time It Rains was issued as a single in the UK along with a repackaged edition of Flowers, which was released only in the UK. Interesting, really, this guy, Clive Davis, he decided to sort of change the American style, didn't he? He obviously knew what he was doing, because every time he they remixed the bits and put some different tunes in,
it worked.
It worked, didn't it? Which was quite good, really.
Well, Singles of the 90s, a compilation of 16 hit singles, was released in November 1999. Its first single, C'est la vie, always 21 in brackets, charted modestly in most places where it was released and went on to become a surprise number 1 hit in Spain. Attempting to capitalise on the success of the previous single, Hello, Hello, was released with special remixes just for the Spanish market. The album's marketing push closed with the limited radio-only single release of Love in December. Greatest Hits was released for the American market in April 2000. Hello Hello was initially planned to be the first single from the compilation, but in the end it was not included at all. C'est la vie, always 21, served as the only new recording on the American release. Every Time It Rains, previously included on the Cruel Summer album, was released in a new remix as a radio single in the US and becoming the only form of promotion for Greatest Hits. With minimal promotion, the album and the single failed to chart, not surprisingly, with the former selling fewer than 5,000 copies in its first week. That's quite a few. Greatest Hits completed the band's tour album contract with Arista Records, which was not renewed.
Ace of Base released their fourth studio album called Da Capo, in September 2002 in Europe and in Japan through Toshiba EMI with a different cover and 3 bonus tracks. The album had originally been planned for release in the mid-2000s, but repeatedly postponed due to record company complications.